If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, you're texting back, you're showing interest, you're looking amazing, and yet something just doesn't click with him, this video is your breakthrough moment. Because the truth is, men don't fall in love the way you think they do. Attraction isn't enough. Chemistry isn't enough. Time, effort, dates, still not enough. What makes a man fall in love, really fall, is something most women never get told. So let me tell you what nobody else will. A man doesn't fall for your looks, your loyalty, or even your love. He falls when he feels 4 specific emotions. And without these, he may like you, want you, even date you. But he won't bond with you on that soul-deep level that leads to real commitment. In this video, I'm not giving you tips or tricks. I'm giving you a roadmap into the male emotional experience. What actually happens inside his heart when he chooses you over everyone else. This is not about playing games or changing who you are. This is about awakening the emotional instincts in him that make him see you as the one. So stay with me for the next few minutes, because once you understand the emotional switch that flips love on in a man, everything changes. Let's start with the first emotion, and it's not what you think. When it comes to love, most people assume that physical attraction is the starting point. But for a man to truly fall in love, the very first emotional trigger he needs to feel is curiosity. Not just about what you look like or what you do for a living, but about you as a person. Your inner world, your thoughts, the way your mind works. Here's the truth. Men fall in love, not with what's obvious, but with what's unfolding. When a man finds himself thinking about you when you're not around, wondering what you'll say next, replaying your conversations in his head, that's curiosity in action. And that's the entry point into emotional connection. You want to make him think, what is it about her? Not because you're being mysterious for the sake of it, but because you have layers. You're not giving him everything up front. You're letting him discover you in pieces, in moments. And with every piece, he becomes more emotionally invested. Think about the last time you watched a show, and you just had to watch the next episode. That addictive, can't look away feeling. That's exactly the emotional experience that pulls a man closer. Not because he's trying to win, but because he's genuinely fascinated. This doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means living a life that stimulates your mind, being curious yourself, having passions, opinions, stories, questions. Men are drawn to women who spark something in them, who challenge their thinking, who introduce them to new ideas or perspectives. It's not about being perfect. It's about being engaging. You become unforgettable when you're not predictable. And here's something you might not have heard before. For a man, emotional curiosity often precedes emotional safety. If he's intrigued by you, he'll keep coming back. He'll start to open up. He'll want to spend more time with you, not out of obligation, but because you're the person who stimulates his mind in a world full of noise and routine. That's why it's not enough to just be nice or attractive. If he can predict every conversation, if there's no emotional spark, he may enjoy the moment, but he won't stay. But when you become the person who sees the world differently, who asks better questions, who listens in a way others don't, that's when he starts connecting your presence with pleasure, depth, and meaning. So ask him things no one else does. Share stories that make him think. Challenge his opinions, kindly, playfully. Make him wonder what you're thinking, what you'll say next, who you'll be tomorrow. That wonder creates anticipation. Anticipation breeds excitement. And excitement, that's where emotional attachment begins. Curiosity is the first domino in a chain reaction. And once it falls, the rest, love, connection, commitment, can actually begin. Once a man feels curious about you, once his mind is engaged, what happens next determines whether he simply enjoys your presence or starts to feel safe in it. And this is where the second emotion comes in, emotional safety. For many men, emotional safety is rare, not because women don't offer it, but because they've been conditioned not to seek it. From a young age, a lot of men are taught to armor up, to be stoic, to stay guarded. Vulnerability, that's seen as weakness in many circles. So when a woman creates a space where he doesn't have to perform, compete, or hide, that space becomes sacred to him. He may not say it out loud. He may not even realize it's happening. But when he starts to feel like he can show up around you without a mask, when he feels like he doesn't have to be impressive all the time, That's when real emotional connection takes root. Emotional safety isn't just about being nice, it's about being present. It's the way you listen without judgment when he opens up. It's how you hold space when he shares something uncomfortable. It's the softness in your energy that tells him, you don't have to be perfect here, and vulnerability. That's the doorway to love. But here's the thing, men don't walk through that door unless they feel safe enough to do it. If he senses that opening up might cost him respect or attraction, he'll shut that part of himself down. But if you can meet his vulnerability with grace, not shock, with curiosity, not criticism, he'll lean into you emotionally in a way that's almost impossible to fake or force. He needs to feel that he can be seen, really seen, and not lose you for it. And this goes both ways. When you are willing to be real, not performative, not perfect, not playing it cool, it invites him to do the same. It lowers the emotional temperature. It tells him, hey, we can be human here. And that human-to-human connection, that's the root of emotional intimacy. When a man feels emotionally safe, everything changes. He's no longer weighing his words. He's not trying to keep control. He begins to trust, not just you, but his own feelings for you. He stops questioning the connection. He starts leaning in. He shows up more often. He shares more deeply. And he begins to associate you with a very rare feeling, peace. That peace becomes addictive. And once he finds that in you, a space where he's fully accepted, fully respected, and emotionally at ease, it becomes almost impossible to walk away. Because in a world that constantly asks men to be hard, the woman who lets him be soft becomes unforgettable. So now he's curious. He's starting to feel emotionally safe around you. The next emotion that pulls a man deeper, that makes him see you differently, is something many women underestimate. It's not love, and it's not attraction. It's admiration, and most importantly, respect. You see, men don't fall in love with women they don't admire, period. And I don't mean admiration for your appearance or your charm. I mean admiration for your essence, your strength, your values, your self-respect, your ambition, your kindness, your way of being. It's when he looks at you and thinks, damn, she's different. She knows who she is. There's something incredibly magnetic about a woman who respects herself first, who sets boundaries not to play hard to get, but because she honors her own energy, who doesn't over-explain, over-apologize, or over-give to earn love, but instead moves with quiet confidence, knowing her worth doesn't need to be proven. That kind of woman earns his respect, and respect is the foundation of long-term love. Because here's the truth, a man can be attracted to you and even emotionally open with you, but if he doesn't look up to you in some way, if he doesn't feel like your presence makes his life better, fuller, or more grounded, he's far less likely to fully commit. Admiration inspires devotion. It makes a man want to rise for you, to show up better, to be the man he knows you see in him. That's powerful, and it doesn't come from manipulation or performance. It comes from alignment, from walking your talk, from being the woman who doesn't just want love, but who embodies the kind of energy that invites it. This is where respect becomes mutual, because he doesn't just want to be desired, he wants to feel valued. He wants to feel like the things he does well, the efforts he makes, the character he shows, that you see those things. And when you reflect that admiration back to him, in a genuine, thoughtful way, without overdoing it or stroking his ego, you're feeding one of the deepest emotional needs he has. It's not about inflating his confidence. It's about recognizing his masculine core and showing appreciation for who he is, not just what he can give you. When admiration and respect flow both ways, emotional gravity kicks in. That's when the connection stops feeling casual. That's when it starts feeling serious. That's when a man begins to look at you and think, she's not just someone I want to be with, she's someone I don't want to lose. And that's how you become irreplaceable. So after a man feels deep curiosity, once he finds emotional safety in your presence, and when he genuinely admires and respects you, there's one final emotional shift that truly locks in his heart. It's the moment he begins to feel a desire for a future. Not just any future, but one with you in it. This is the emotional turning point that separates casual attraction from lasting commitment. It's where his feelings evolve from "I enjoy being with her" to "I want her in my life long term." And that shift doesn't happen because of pressure, ultimatums, or even time spent together. It happens because of how you make him feel about the future itself. For a man to desire a future with you, he has to see one, and more importantly, he has to feel good in that vision. He needs to imagine life with you and feel peace, possibility, and purpose, not confusion, stress, or uncertainty. That doesn't mean you have to sell him a perfect plan or show up like a Stepford wife with a 5-year blueprint. In fact, it's much simpler and more powerful than that. What he's really looking for is emotional alignment, a sense that your values fit with his, that your energy feels like home, that being with you doesn't feel like a compromise. It feels like an upgrade to his life. When he starts to think, life feels easier, richer, and more meaningful with her, you've touched the deepest emotional layer of all, the vision of shared purpose. And here's something most people miss. Men don't always know they're searching for this feeling until they feel it. A woman who brings calm, depth, and direction to a man's world without trying to control it. That's incredibly rare. It's not about being passive or overly agreeable. It's about being in tune, being the kind of partner who sees his potential and believes in the future with him, not just for what he can give, but for what you can build together. Men crave this far more than they admit. They want to be inspired, not with drama, not with chaos, not with constant emotional highs and lows, but with stability, beauty, and the promise of something real. Something that gets better over time. Something he can invest in, not just emotionally, but mentally and spiritually. And when you become the woman who inspires that vision, not by forcing it, but by living it, he naturally starts imagining you beside him in every future scenario. Vacations, life decisions, milestones, even the quiet, ordinary moments, grocery shopping, lazy Sundays, bad days. You become part of the mental picture he paints of a life well lived. And once you're in that picture, everything changes. He no longer sees you as an option. He sees you as a life partner, someone he wants to protect, grow with, and come home to. That's when commitment becomes effortless. That's when he stops looking around. That's when his emotional loyalty kicks in, even before the relationship is officially defined. Because in a world where most people are chasing feelings that fade, you've created something different, a connection that feels like a future. And once a man feels that, he doesn't just fall in love, he stays in love. Now that we've uncovered the 4 core emotions a man needs to feel to fall in love: curiosity, emotional safety, admiration, and a desire for a shared future, let's make this real. Let's talk about what this actually looks like in everyday situations. Because it's one thing to understand the theory, it's another thing to live it. Let's start with curiosity. Say you're on a date or having a conversation, and he brings up something you don't know much about. Maybe it's his work, a hobby, or something he's passionate about. Most people either nod politely or change the subject. But if you engage with genuine interest, ask thoughtful questions, reflect back what he's saying, maybe even challenge him playfully, he'll start to associate you with mental stimulation. You're not just hearing him, you're tuning in. And that kind of engagement is rare. It sparks something deeper. Now, emotional safety. Imagine he shares something vulnerable, maybe a past relationship, a family issue, or a fear about his career. That's a critical moment. If you respond with compassion, without making it about you, without judgment or rushing to fix it, you've just given him emotional oxygen. He'll remember that. He may not say it, but you've become someone he can exhale around. And that matters more than attraction ever will. Admiration and respect show up in small but powerful ways. When he accomplishes something, even something that seems minor, and you acknowledge it with genuine appreciation, it sinks in. When you highlight qualities you genuinely admire in him, his consistency, his patience, his ambition, and you say it when he's not expecting it, it hits different. Especially if you're someone who clearly also respects yourself. That creates mutual emotional elevation. He feels seen as a man, not just as a partner. And now the future. Here's a real moment that flips that emotional switch. You're talking about your dreams, not your timeline, not your relationship expectations, but your vision for life. Maybe you mention how much you value emotional growth, or how important it is to you to travel, have a family, build something meaningful. Not in a way that demands anything from him, but in a way that's inspiring. If his values align, he'll start to imagine what life could feel like next to a woman who moves with purpose. And that's the moment the future becomes real. Not because you asked him to commit, but because you made him want to. The point is, you don't have to chase, prove, or perform. You simply need to show up in a way that allows these emotions to unfold naturally. You're not forcing him to feel anything. You're creating a space where he gets to feel these things. And that's the secret. When you're fully grounded in who you are, when you engage with curiosity, offer emotional presence, embody self-respect, and live with vision, you become a mirror for the kind of connection he didn't know he was craving. So if you're wondering, how do I apply this? The answer is simple. Be intentional. Listen deeply. Speak from a place of clarity, not fear. Value yourself so much that he feels it without you saying a word. That's how the emotional foundation for lasting love is built. Not by trying to be everything he wants, but by being everything you are, and letting him rise to meet you there. We've covered a lot in this video, the 4 key emotions a man needs to feel in order to truly fall in love. Curiosity, emotional safety, admiration, and desire for a future together. These aren't just ideas or theories, they're the emotional building blocks that create deep, lasting connection. But before you go, let's bring it all home with some final thoughts, and most importantly, what you can do, starting today, to make these emotions come alive in your relationships. First, remember this: love isn't about chasing or trying to make someone feel something. It's about inviting those feelings by being fully yourself. That means showing up with confidence in who you are, your values, your quirks, and your passions. When you embrace your true self, you naturally spark curiosity. You become interesting because you're authentic, not because you're playing a role or following a script. Next, emotional safety is your superpower. It's the quiet strength of being a calm harbor in a world full of storms. When you listen deeply without judgment, when you create a space where vulnerability is met with kindness, you become someone a man can trust with his whole heart. Trust me, that kind of presence is rare and precious, and it pulls people in more than any flashy gesture ever could. Admiration and respect aren't things you give just to get something back. They are reflections of your own self-respect. When you value yourself, set clear boundaries, and live with integrity, you naturally command respect. And when you genuinely appreciate the man in your life for who he is, you ignite a powerful emotional bond. Remember, respect is a two-way street. It grows from the energy you bring into the relationship. Finally, the desire for a future is the emotional glue that holds everything together. To inspire that feeling, live with intention. Share your dreams and vision authentically. And invite him into that space, not by pressuring, but by demonstrating that life with you feels expansive and meaningful. When a man sees that being with you aligns with his deepest hopes and values, commitment becomes a natural next step. Now, what are the next steps you can take right now? Start by tuning into your conversations. Are you truly curious? Are you asking questions that go deeper than the surface? Are you engaging with interest, or just going through the motions? Shift your focus from what you need to say to what you want to learn about him. Practice emotional safety by being fully present when he opens up. Resist the urge to fix or rush. Sometimes, your calm acceptance is exactly what he needs to feel safe enough to lean in. Reflect on how you show admiration. Are you celebrating his wins, both big and small? Are you acknowledging qualities that matter, not just achievements? Small moments of genuine appreciation can create a powerful emotional connection. And finally, make space for vision. Share your values and dreams casually in conversation. Talk about what excites you about life, what matters to you, and watch how that invites him to imagine a future with you. Remember, love is a process, not a magic trick. The emotions you cultivate take time to grow and deepen. Be patient with yourself and with him. You are worth love that's deep, fulfilling, and lasting. When you combine curiosity, safety, admiration, and future vision. You create the emotional environment where a man can truly fall in love and stay in love. So go forward with confidence. Be bold in your authenticity. Create that safe space, celebrate the good in him, and live your life with a vision so compelling that he can't help but want to be part of it. This is how you turn attraction into love. This is how you become unforgettable. Thank you for watching. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss insights like these. Drop a comment below. I want to hear which emotion you're most excited to work on, or what moments in your relationships made you think, "That's exactly it." You're on the path to a love that lasts. Keep going.